the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
Ready for some Pope Leo news? Here goes. So Pope Leo, he went to a youth jubilee, or Ute Jubilee, depending on where you're from. More than, get this, Cyrus, more than 1 million young people. This was Sunday. It was the culmination of a pilgrimage drawing Catholic young people from around the world. This according to The Guardian, which is a secular British newspaper, but they're covering it, which is great. The week-long Jubilee of Youth, a highlight of the Jubilee Holy Year, was an enormous undertaking for the Vatican, and 500,000 young pilgrims in Rome were there for most of the week. Before a twilight vigil led by the Pope on Saturday night, organizers said there had been 800,000 people in the open-air space on Rome's eastern outskirts. The Vatican said the number had grown to 1 million. Most of them spent the night in tents and in sleeping bags or on mats in anticipation of Sunday Mass. Among them was New Yorker Christopher Delano, who said he had been so happy to see Pope Leo and was stunned by the size of the crowds. He said, "I didn't expect to see all these people. I knew there was going to be a lot of people, but I didn't know it was going to be this many." Kind of reminds me of World Youth Day. I've been to several World Youth Days. The first one that I ever went to was in Denver. Pope John Paul II came to greet Americans, and this was in 1993. It was amazing, just the huge number of young people and their chaperones who were camping out Cherry Creek State Park. And that's where they had the last of the papal masses. And it was very impressive, the number of people who were there. And saw the same thing 2 years later in Manila for the World Youth Day there. Pope John Paul II again. I think that might have broken the record for the largest crowd of people, certainly the largest crowd of people for a religious event. There were estimates of between 3 and 5 million people, million with an M. And I remember being in the Hotel Manila on the 10th floor, and I was looking down at Rizal Park, which is where the main audience in front of where the Pope was, and in the speaking stand where they would celebrate Mass and all that. And I could see, for as far as the eye could see, out this window, 10 stories high, and it was a solid mass of humanity that stretched for miles. And I heard subsequently that it was somewhere between 3 million and more. So it was very impressive. And, you know, some of the other World Youth Days in Paris and others, but those crowds are very large. And that's what happened again. This wasn't a World Youth Day. It was just the Jubilee year gathering of all the youths. The Vatican said that the pilgrims traveled to Rome from various regions, including areas where there's a lot of violence. They prayed the Angelus together. Pope Leo, in the Angelus prayer, said, "We are closer than ever to the young people who suffer most serious evils which are caused by other human beings. We are with the young people of Gaza. We are with the young people of Ukraine and with those of every land bloodied by war. My young brothers and sisters, you are the sign that a different world is possible, a world of fraternity and friendship where conflicts are not resolved with weapons, but with dialogue." Boy, if only we could get to that point. Wouldn't that be great? The event was accompanied by music from a choir. There were about 450 bishops there. There were about 700 priests there. One Italian pilgrim, Tommaso Benedetti, he said that the Pope, the way he put it, that he, quote unquote, passed his first test in the eyes of young people. He said, we feel quite satisfied. There were many references to peace, which is a theme that's very close to our hearts as young people. The young people came from 146 different countries, according to the Vatican. They've been filling Rome's streets since Monday, chanting and singing and waving their country's flags. The atmosphere reached a peak on Saturday before the vigil that was presided over by the Holy Father. Hundreds of thousands camped out in the dusty venue, that's the one aforementioned, strumming guitars, singing. Music blasted from the stage where a series of religious bands entertained the crowds. The Holy Father was greeted with deafening screams and applause after his arrival by helicopter. He toured the grounds.
Have you seen the photo of him in the helicopter looking out over? This is awesome.
The young people might say he's super chill. He's just sort of sitting there.
He is super chill.
I couldn't see if there was like a cup of ginger ale on ice there. But yeah, he looked very happy and he looked very calm. And he must have been a couple thousand feet up because you can see the whole venue and all the people. I did see that picture. It's striking. The place where they had the Mass and all the youths gathering in that one place for Mass was 125 square acres, about the size of 70 football fields. One British student says, "I'm so happy to be here, even if I'm a bit far from the Pope." I think he means like geographically. The Pope was on the stage and he was further back. He says, "I knew what to expect. The main thing is that we're all together." I would offer one correction. I mean, yes, I get that. The main thing is that you're all together for Jesus. I mean, that's the main thing. The main thing is Jesus. That's the whole point of gathering together. And I know that according to Pope Leo, he made this point repeatedly, which was good, and it resonated with the young people. So that's great. I wanted you to be aware of that. And Cyrus, if you can post the article, but maybe more importantly, if you can find that picture of a super chill Pope Leo in the helicopter.
It's already up.
Man, you're fast. You can join me by listening to The Patrick Madrid Show on the Relevant Radio app, live each weekday at 8 to 11 a.m. And thanks for listening.